we're going to talk about order of operations. Okay? When we talk about order of operations, let me ask you guys something. When you get up in the morning, right? Why don't you put on your shoes, then put on your socks, put on your jacket, then put on your shirt, and then come to school? Why don't you guys do that?
Because that's not the right order.
That's not the right order. That's not the right order. And what happens when you do that?
You're all messed up.
You're all messed up. You come outside looking all messed up. When we talk about order of operation, that's the same thing that's going to happen to your math problem. If you don't do them in the right order, it's going to come out looking all messed up. Okay? When we talk about order of operations, what is an operation in math?
A procedure.
A procedure. Okay. The procedures that we have in math are, somebody give me a procedure that we have in math. Something that we do between two numbers.
Add, subtract, multiply.
Add, subtract, multiply, and what else?
Put signs.
Okay. Different signs, yes. But mainly, operation is what we do between two numbers. Now, the sign could be part of that number, so it's not necessarily an operation. But the operation is what we're going to do between those two numbers. When we have multiple operations in a single problem, we have an order that we have to go in. The order that we go in is, they have an acronym. An acronym is a word that stands for something bigger, you know, like Mothers Against Drunk Driving, MAD. You know, that's an acronym. This one is PEMDAS, okay? PEMDAS stands for Please Excuse My Dear Aunt Sally. It's one way it's taught, but what it really means is the order of operations that we do. The first one is parentheses, okay? The second one is exponents. Exponents mean to the second power, to the third power. The next one is multiplication. After that is division. Now the thing about it is, multiplication doesn't necessarily come before division. Multiplication and division are on the same level. It's just whatever one you see first, and your problem going from left to right. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Whichever one you see first, and your problem going from left to right. Now, multiplication and division do go before addition and subtraction. Okay? So, when we're working out a problem, I'll give you guys an example. Let's say we have 5 plus 2 times 10 divided by 5 equals what? When I'm looking at my order of operations, what's the very first thing that I should do?
Divide.
Is it?
Parentheses.
Do
Multiply.
you see parentheses up there?
Multiply.
Multiply the 2 and the 10.
Multiply the 2 and the 10, and what do I get?
20.
20. Now, once I do that, and this is how I encourage you guys to write the problem is, right under your problem so you can see what it is that you're doing. Once I get that 20, what do you think I do next?
You drop down your 5 plus and then divide by 5.
I divide by 5, and what's that? 4? So I can bring down my 4. Now what else do I do?
Bring down the 5.
Bring down my 5, and what else?
The plus.
The plus. 5 plus 4 is what?
9.
That's my answer. Make sense? Okay. Everybody look at your books. Let's look at page, well, let's look at page 6. Let's look at number 4. We have 7, parentheses, 14 minus 3 to the second power. Is there another parentheses?
No. Oh, yeah.
Another parentheses, and then plus 6. Now, what's the first thing I should do?
Exponent. Parentheses.
My parentheses. Now, inside of my parentheses, what's the first thing that I should do?
Exponent.
I should do my exponent. When I talk about 3 to the second power, right? What's that mean?
3 times 3.
3 times 3. Whenever I have an exponent, whenever I have a number that's hanging in the air, all that means is I take that number that is hanging above and multiply it by itself that many times. If this was a 3 in the air, I would multiply 3 times 3 times 3. That's what we call a cube. But this is square, so I multiply 3 times 3. What is 3 times 3? 9.
9.
Now, what's the next thing I do?
Subtract 14 from 9.
And what do I get?
5.
5. Now, question. What's the next thing I do?
You multiply 7 times 5.
I multiply 7 times 5. Now, Chantel, how do you know that I multiply 7 times 5?
Because the parentheses.
Here's another thing about parentheses. Anything outside of the parentheses means multiplication. This means not just 14 minus 3 squared. It means 7 times 14 minus 3 squared. If you don't see any operation in between the number on the outside of the parentheses and on the inside, it means multiplication. Okay? So what is 7 times 5?
35.
35. Now, what's it? What did you say?
Plus 6.
So now I add that 35 plus 6, right?
41.
And that's my answer. Okay? Now, just like any rule, there are always some exceptions. And I want to go ahead and show you these exceptions because they love to put the exceptions on the test. Let's look at number 7. We have 11 plus 13 times 3 divided by
2
2 times 3 plus 4, right?
Yeah.
Now here's the thing about PEMDAS. According to PEMDAS, I would do my multiplication and division first. Whenever you have a division problem that has something on the top of it or on the bottom of it that has not been simplified. By simplified, I mean have all the numbers that can be combined, have they been combined into one number? That's what simplified means. Combining things into one number if they can be combined, right? If I have something on the top or bottom that's not simplified, I have to simplify it. Okay? So instead of me thinking about this division, before I can do any of that, I need to simplify my top. How do I do that?
Multiply the 3 times 13.
And what do I get?
39.
39? Okay. So, then what do I do?
Then you multiply the 2 times 3.
Well, I need to go ahead and resolve that top first.
Plus 11.
Plus 11, and what do I get?
50.
Okay. So now, I've combined this number. This is no longer 11 plus 13 times 3. This is 50. I'm going to cross him out. I've simplified him. Now, let me go and simplify my bottom. How do I do that?
2 times 3.
And 2 times 3 is what?
6.
6. And then what do I do with that?
Plus 4.
6 plus 4 is what?
10.
10.
Then
Now I can divide. So 50 divided by 10
it's 5.
is 5. And that's my what? Answer is 5.
Oh, that's easy.
Does everybody understand that?
Yes.
Does that make it simple for you?
No.
No? What? Give me a question.
No, it's just
No, ask. It's important. It's important because the same question that you may have, somebody else who's watching this video may have. So anything that's not clear, I need it to be crystal clear to you.
I understand it.
You sure? Okay, let's try one more before we move on to the next thing.
Can we try number 6? Because there's 2 parentheses.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do number 6.
Yeah.
Now everybody's okay. 10 parentheses 6 to the second power. Now when I say 6 to the second power, what's another way of saying that?
6 times 6.
Okay, and
6 cubed.
close.
36 squared.
Squared. Good job, Ricky. 6 squared, or like Christina said, which I also like, 6 times 6. We have to understand these things. Okay? 6 to the second power, and then comes what?
Negative 5. Or
Minus
Minus 5
Parentheses.
parentheses,
4 plus 3.
4 plus 3. Now, I do have two sets of parentheses, but just like in my other problems where I may have multiplication and division, with my parentheses, I do the same thing. I go from left to right to solve my parentheses. So my first parentheses is 6 to the second power. What's 6 to the second power?
36.
36. Now, what do you guys think the next thing I do is?
Then write your problem.
The 4 plus 3.
I can go ahead and do the 4 plus 3. And what's 4 plus 3?
7.
7. So now, here's my new problem. 10 times 36 minus 5 times 7. Okay? So I can go ahead and write that. 10 times 36 minus 5 times 7. These circles mean multiplication. So what's the first thing I do?
10 times 36.
And what's that?
360.
Okay, now, when I multiply 10 times 36, anytime you multiply a number by 10, you don't have to do the math, you guys. Rewrite the number that's being multiplied by 10. It's 10 times 36, right? So rewrite 36, and then I add what to that 36?
0.
A 0. I didn't do any math. Now I have, what's the next thing I do?
Negative 7 times.
You will multiply
5 times 7.
Okay, here's the thing. In order not to confuse you, don't do negative 5 times 7. Just do 5 times 7. What's 5 times 7?
35.
35. Now, you have 35 here, and just bring down your minus sign. Okay? Because that will allow yourself just to do the math and not have to worry about confusing your integer rules. So now I have 360 minus 35. What's my answer?
325.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, who's right? Somebody give me a tiebreaker.
325.
325? 325? Okay, good job. 325. Everybody understand this? Let's do one last one.
Can we do one of the divide ones again?
We would, but if we did all of those, then that means I would be doing you guys' homework. So I'm going to do my own problem on the board and allow you to do that as homework.
Okay.
Okay? All right. We ready? Okay, what's the first thing I do?
2 times 30.
Start on the top.
Start on the top. And I need to do what to the top? What's that word that I use? It's very important.
Combine like terms.
Combine. What's another word for that? You're saying it right, but I want you to understand because this is a test language. Simplify. Good job. Great job. I need to simplify this top. What's 30 times 2? 60. Okay, what's 60 plus 20?
80.
80. So I put an 80 over here. And then I have,
2 to the second.
what's 2 to the second power?
4.
4. What's 80 divided by 4?
20.
2 or 20?
20.
Good job, guys. Any questions on these? Order of operations. Great job.